Welcome to today's episode of Mystery Stamping. I'm Lisa Fulford, your creative coach, and today is October the 3rd, 2024, and I do mystery stamping every other week, and so today is the first one for October, and then the next one will be on the 17th and the 31st. So I just wanted to give that information. I have been posting the clues on my Creative Coach mystery stamping group, and then I have been putting the link out there. So also have it on my business page, Creative Coach Lisa. And so that you can find the clues there. You can find the link for the Zoom call for the mystery stamping hour. And so once I finished with that recording, then I upload it to YouTube. I may be changing a few things in the near future because I've already changed a little bit. You used to have to register and then you would get the link sent to you or the clues sent to you. And whenever I got the notification you'd registered, I would then send out the link. So that was a lot of extra steps. So I'm trying to streamline things. So I am thinking about switching to doing my mystery stamping on either a Facebook Live or on a YouTube Live, and then just letting people jump on whenever they can, and then always having the replay for that. But I haven't decided how I'm going to handle it for the future, but for right now, I'm doing it this way. I'm recording it and then uploading it. So we will get started with the project for today. It's a pretty quick one, and I only have one. I've been trying to do some videos where it's a little bit quicker because a lot of them are half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes long. And so been trying to make it where the mystery ones are about 15 minutes. So if you've got a few minutes, then you could watch them and get a card idea. So I hope that you like this card pattern. So we'll get started with today's project. So what I have here are the clues, and this is what you would receive as either the link, or sometimes I post it as an actual, not a PDF, but a JPEG. So, so that they can be printed. I also upload them as a PDF into, I can't remember what the tab is. I think it's called Files on my mystery stamping group. And so if you follow my regular business page, then we can invite you to the mystery stamping group, because it is, you do have to answer a few questions to be able to be in that group. So with the clues, actually, instructions, what have you, I have a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock, and it was supposed to be score at 4.25. So what I did was I just went with what I'd put down, but then I added an extra step to it, because if somebody had already cut out all their bits and pieces and had already scored, I didn't want to throw them off and have to make them start over. And so I already had all that information out there, so I just adapted mine for the clues that I'd put out there. So here is my 8.5, and it's by 5.5, and I scored it at 5.25. But then I also scored it here, and I think that was at 1 inch, so that I can make a fun fold type card. That wasn't my intent to begin with, but I really like how it turned out. So I'm glad that I made that little happy mistake. So there's our card base, scored at 4.25 or 5.25, and then I also scored it. So when it's in the scoreboard or your cutter, here's the 5.25, and then also I did it at 1 inch. So 1 inch and 5.25 is what I scored it at. And so I've got these little rough pieces on here. I have to clean out the track of my paper cutter ever so often, and it leaves these if I don't. And so I've changed new blades. It's something to do with the track. Let me get those off there. So if you have a sander of some sort, or you have a nail file or anything, you can get those little bits and pieces off there. So I'm going to set that like that. And so then the next thing is I have some cardstock layers. So my first one is a, let's see, a 2" by 5". So that's my first layer. And then my second one that I have here is 2 3/4 by 4. So I have that. Got a few fuzzies on that one too. And then our basic white is, I have a scrap piece here, and I will get my sentiment and different things out of that. And then I also have, it's a 3.5 by 5. I cut mine down a little bit more than what most people do, so they can get 5 out of a sheet of cardstock. And so there's that. And then let's see, our DSP. I do have a circle here. Let me grab that. I forgot to put it with my stuff. This is just a circle to put my imagery on. And then here are my DSPs, and this is a new DSP pack that is with the new online exclusives. I cannot remember the name of it. Let's see if I've got it here real quick. I think this is the one that came out of, and it's called Snowy Scenes 12 by 12. But let me double check, make sure it came out of this one. Yes, it came out of this one here, and that is a new online exclusive release. And so the two pieces that I have is 1 7/8 by 4 7/8, and then I have a 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then I also have my paper cutter, because I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here, and then I'm going to cut it with my paper cutter. So let's see, my inks that I'm going to use, Memento Tuxedo Black, and then the other ink that I will use is the Pool Party. And then I have a bundle that I'm using for my images and my sentiments, and it's the Sweetest Star bundle. And so we have the star punch that punches out these little characters, and these are just the cutest. They look really cute on the case, but when you color them in, they're really super cute. So we have that, and then I do have a few embellishments here, which I think I'm going to add to my card. I don't know that I am. I didn't add it to my sample, but we're going to add it to my card, hopefully this one here that I'm making. So I usually try to, add a little something to them every now and then. So we're going to start out with some stamping. That way it can dry. And then I do have some blends that we're going to do, but I will show those when we're at that point. So I'm going to put my stamp down, and I'm going to do the Santa Claus because of the sentiment and things that I'm going to use for this. So I'm just inking this up, and I normally sand just a little bit the surface of my stamps so that they adhere the ink well, but we'll make this work. I'll hold it here for a moment. Being photopolymer, sometimes when you first are using them, the ink doesn't I guess adhere to it like you want it to, because there's a film on it in the process. If you take a little sander, or you can rub it on your jeans or something like that, it generally will take that coating off, and then after that you don't have any problems. So there is our image, and I know that probably sounds crazy, but I've used this stamp that says wishing you a holly jolly Christmas, and the first one is a little splotchy, so I'm hoping with this one it won't be, because I've already used it once. And if you use them and you're getting splotchy images, then if you just, clean it and then rub a little, like this little sander would be fine just to like twice over. You don't want to, sand it down. You just want to get that little bit of that coating off of it. I think I put that too close to the end, and see, it is not doing the best. So I'm gonna clean this. I'll show you what I mean. I had trouble with this when I did the card, but I decided to leave it to show. So I just take the sander, just run over it. If there's any residual, I want to take that off. Hopefully it will stamp better this next time. I'm going to flip this part over. I heard a noise, so I need to look out my window. See if it will do better. I needed a little bit on each end so that I could flag the end. I realize I'm off camera right at the moment, so sorry about that. And so this one's a little bit better. This one here is like, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of splotchy. This one's a little bit better. It's a little bit more definite. So we'll use the back one. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cut that strip off. I have my paper cutter here. And I'll trim that off best that I can. And that looks pretty good. So there's my piece right there. And we have this one. I have an eyelash. All right, so get that out of the way. I'm going to take this piece and grab a piece of my scratch paper here, and I've used it already. Try to get back on camera. Sorry for doing any of that off camera. I forget I have to reach farther with my setup now. Didn't quite get how I wanted on that edge there. So I just add more to it. Using my chamois. That is a Stampin' Up! Chamois. It's just I cut it down to a 1/4. Oh, I'm not finished with the stamping. So this is my inside piece. I'm just trying to get all the stamping first so that it has time to dry before we do this corner. My inside piece. Come down here. Do that corner for my inside piece. So now I think all of the stamping is finished. And then later, when I know who I'm going to give this card to, then I can put whatever sentiment or things on the inside. I usually don't put a sentiment so I know where it's going. Who's going to receive it? All right, so we can start putting these pieces together, and then I will color that in shortly. So grab our bone folder. You always put the bump on the inside. Okay. Make certain I don't overlap. So this is how our card's going to open, because I said to score it at the 5 1/4 instead of the 4 1/4, so I have that extra inch there, so it'll fit in a regular envelope. Put that up there. Now we're going to do our layering. I'm going to use liquid glue for this. You can use tape runner. You could use glue dots. You can use tear tape if you want. I just use glue. I like the green glue, the multi-purpose glue. It's my favorite adhesive because once I put it down, I have a little bit of time to slide it around if I don't get it straight. Put that on there. I like to put the glue coming from the corners towards the center. Like that. Set that one on there. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this inside so I can get more real estate on my desk here. It doesn't matter how this one goes because I have stamped it the same. It goes in there. Set that up there. So now we're going to go ahead and color in the Mr. Claus here. I'm going to start with the light petal pink. Just going to do his little ears, his face, his little nose. Let's see, I'm going to do his mouth. It's just a little bit here. I'm just going to put a dot there. And then I'm going to start coloring in his hat and his suit. And when it's in those little fine things, I just try to dot it. I only have the light real red. For whatever reason, my Stampin' blends keep cracking right here, and then they dry out. So when I went to use my dark one, I realized that it had cracked and they were dried out. And I've had several, when I've opened them, the centerpiece went flying. I love these, but for some reason, I don't know if they're getting pressed on too tight or getting twisted when they're being opened. Don't know. Maybe when their little caps are going back on. I do use them in class off and on, like my in-person classes. So I don't know. But I just purchase new ones and go on. Okay, so these I only have the one color. I'll show you how to make the most of your Stampin' blends. So I'm going to leave that to give it a chance to dry, and I outlined it, then I went over it, and then I'll show you again here in just a minute what I'm going to do to try to give it more dimension with just one marker. They come as a pair. They didn't used to, but they do now. So when you order one, you get both. But like if you get in a situation where I am, your marker is dried out or cracked, or some of them, the little brush tip are shot. So I've been buying new ones here lately. So I'm going to go back over this one, being it's dry, and you want to wait till it's dry. And you just want to go over where you want to highlight. And if you let it dry, the more you add color, the more definition you'll see. So and they dry fairly quick. So just along the outside edges is what I'm doing. All right, and then if I need to fill in more, I can. Cut down here, just do the bottom. I was going to go ahead and color this ahead of time, but considering I had that problem arise, I want to just show how you can make the most of it. Okay, so you see how, you might not be able to see it, you see how this here is a little bit darker than the rest. The more we go over it, the darker that will be. Go over it again, go over this one again, then I'm just going to slightly go over the other so that it's not a pink color. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. I don't think I need to do it with the pants. There's such a small area that I think will be okay. Let's see, we need to do our, this one here's what I was talking about, like the tip is kind of ratty. So I can't use that because it's not to a point now. So I've got to use the little blunt tip, and I'm going to outline his buckle on his belt here. So that is finished. And then we're going to use the light basic black. And I know light and dark black, but we do have them, and there is a difference. So I'm going to do his gloves and his boots. I think it just adds a little something to it when you color this in. And then I'm going to do his belt. I'm just going to flick it along that belt. Try not to get the buckle. Okay, and I'm going to turn it around because I'm right-handed and I go to the right. So I'm just going to flick that down the belt. I'm just doing small little bits so that I don't get into the red. There's that. And then once that dries, I'm going to add something else to that. Move those out of the way. I think I'm finished with those, and bring in the punch. This punch, you just slide it down in, line it up how you want it. Punch it out. I could still use that for a sentiment, so I'll put that off to the side. All right, so we're going to finish putting our card together. So these should be dry. I bring in the, let's see, it's the 1 and, or the 2 by 5 inch piece. I was thinking of the DSP, that's a different size. This is 2 inches by 5 inches. So I'll put that right about here. I'm doing the same card layout that I had planned. It's just, it's going to be put together just a little bit different. So I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to flip it over upside down, line it up where I'm going to want it. So about like that. And then I'm only going to put glue so that it does not overlap that seam right here. So I put it not quite to where that seam would be. Then I'm going to flip it over, add it to this card front like that. And I'm making certain this is equal on this edge. So I was going to overlap it here, and this was going to be the regular card front. I was just going to glue the whole thing down, but I'm only gluing down this edge right now. Okay, so I'm going to get some dimensionals, and let's see, scissors. There. I'm going to cut some of these away. Okay. Take this, add one there, add that there, remove the backings. I don't know if you can tell how this is going together or not. I really hope that you like this card design, even though I put the wrong dimensions. I'm going to center that on this piece right there. Then I'm going to add some pieces to the back of him. Like that. I think that's enough. Maybe one more. We're going to use this whole page up. Put that there. I don't want him to pop off or to sag. Oops. Trying to get all those backings off. We'll put those up there for now. We're going to center him on this circle. The circle just kind of gives a bit of a background instead of him just being on this one. This has green and it's got a little bit more of the pool party, and so I think he stands out a little bit more on the white than on that. He kind of gets lost in that. So we're going to flip this over because I know this is not the side I want. It's this side. And so I'll trim that down just a hair. Snip from the center up. You go from corner to the top of that snip you just made. And you know you did it right when they just pop off. We're going to trim this down to about the same. We're going to do the same end on this, flagging it. Making a little banner here. Now, if it was a smaller sentiment, you probably could have, done a die cut. There we go. Then I'm going to add these little pieces here to the back of my sentiment. Oh, wait a minute here. Gotta see where I'm going to put it. So from the U to the other end. We don't want anything on this end because it's going to hang over onto this part. I've used all of that. I don't like to waste any of my dimensionals. I just cut around that outside edge, use them all up. Okay, so we're going to bring this in here. I'm going to kind of go. So, wishing you a holly jolly Christmas, but we're not finished yet. I'm going to bring in my link of Stella. I'm going to add that to the pom-pom, the cuff of the hat, and the cuff of the suit. And while I'm at it, I'm going to add it to his mustache and his beard. Trying not to get his mouth because it will smear inks. So I don't know if it would do the Stampin' lens or not. I want to find out. After I've got him already down, then, because I like that shimmer, I'm going to open up my card and let's see. I have my mixture of my alcohol and my link of Stella here. And let's see, I'm going to turn it this way and I'm going to spritz this panel here. Turn it around. Spritz that panel. And it just gives it a little extra shimmer on the whole card front, plus the shimmer on his beard and his hat and cuffs. So that is our mystery solved. Here's that. And those clues again. Here's the one I made prior, and here's the one that I made today. And I don't know if you can see that dimension extra little bit here. I know you can on, should be able to on this one because I didn't go through. See how right there? I didn't go through and add in more on his suit, but I don't know if you can see. Yeah, see that shimmer on his beard and things. And then I don't think it's picking up the shimmer on the actual card, but anyway, so that is our mystery solved. So I hope that you like this card design, this pattern, and you might give it a try. So hopefully you can join me for my next mystery stamp. It will be on October the 17th at 11 o'clock. So happy stamping!